So let's get started, right? So you're here with your daughter Stokely.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about the importance of fatherhood, specifically in the Black community, right? And having more strong Black fathers, mentors. You talk a lot about mentorships, like mentoring men and things like that. And there were a lot of systems that were put in place to make sure that like Black fathers can be taken out the household.
Right.
Why are Black fathers targeted, and why are they so important?
Well, I think Black men have been targeted literally ever since the time in which we've been brought over on the boat. I mean, the transatlantic slave trade was very intentional in terms of trying to bring over quote unquote Black helpers, while Black women were being used in many regards as breeders. Black men were being seen also as breeders, but also as individuals who were simply here to do work, and or the value in which we bring to our families was not seen as something that was necessary by through the eyes and the lens of white supremacy. So I think again in that sense specifically, we understand how there's been a systematic approach to take out Black men within their families. But I think that we've been able to, in many regards, reverse those trends. I think a lot of people often point to the data point that may say that 70% of Black children or Black families don't have a dad. I've seen this, or Black kids are raised without a father or in a single parent household or something like that. And that stat is just unequivocally false, because a person or a kid being born to a single mom or quote unquote unmarried mom doesn't mean that the father isn't active.
Yes. So I want to speak to that. I want to speak to that real quick.
Like the data is being read incorrectly.
I oftentimes see, I have this question. Maybe you can tell me if like your point of view. If the father is in the kid's life, but like the parents are separated, does that make the mother a single mother? If the mom, if the dad is equally like contributing to like taking care of the kid, spending time with the kid, paying for stuff, like being a present parent, does that make the mom a single mom?
What do you think?
I don't know.
So if a person is active, they're engaged, they're involved.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think we're just saying single as in like not in a relationship with the parent. But that I don't think that makes it them a single mom.
So I think to that point, we have to be very careful with how language is used. And oftentimes how, just to be quite frank, in my personal estimation, white supremacy has brainwashed and or utilizes language and words as really dog whistles to make us believe the worst about ourselves, to feed into this belief in which we're inferior. And that's how, again, white supremacy and or superiority is maintained, by using whatever kind of caveat that an individual can think of to be able to show instances and or glimpse of why we are not what we should be, when in all actuality the data is very clear that the CDC has provided studies in which it showed that Black fathers are the most active fathers of all ethnicities. Literally right now, we can show that nearly 51.3% of all Black women around the age of 35 get married to Black men. There are also data points that shows, there's a tons of different data points that show how engaged Black men are in their children's lives. But I think it's easy to try to point out the negative, and it's easy to believe, again, that we aren't doing what we should, because that's what society has consistently told us. And it's hard for us to psychologically believe the best of ourselves, because again, that's not what society has told us about ourselves. And Dr. Joyce DeGruy talks a great deal about post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Yes.
And it's very easy, again, for us to believe negativity, but I challenge us to do the opposite.
Yes. Stop playing. You playing around too much. Like, you want to do something, you want to make the money, you want to build wealth because it look cool, but you're not serious, because you know what I got, and I got something for you. The Blueprint for Investing, Volume 1, created by me, Aaliyah Duah. It gives you a step-by-step guide on how to get started investing in the stock market. See, if you want to really build wealth, you got to put your money into things that's going to work for you, right? Because the job money cool, but you want to make the money work too. Right, so it's going to give you a step-by-step guide, investing tools, the apps to use, everything. And the best part is, I know you don't like to read, so I only made it 28 pages. That's it, right? 28 pages, and you getting yourself some wealth of knowledge. So make sure y'all tune in, get your copy today, and go to financialrevolutionn.com. Let's get it, y'all. Back to the episode. So I guess, okay, I agree with everything that you said. And I also agree that white supremacy does do a good job to control our narrative, and we run with the narrative, right?
Some of us, because we don't speak in generalizations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of us run with the narrative and it spreads, right?
Right.
However, I do see though, like when I look at my friend group, right? Or like, you know, the average people that I hang out with, or not even hang out with, that I know, right?
Yeah.
For a lot of them, like it's not many that have active dads. Okay. Right? So I guess the question is like, where does that stop? Where does that, because to some point, some of the statistics are true. So how do we stop the, what do I want to call it? Like the lack of fatherhood, or let's say maybe you have a father who maybe just sent you money, but in a way that doesn't make you feel valued.
Speaking of active fatherhood,
yes, this is active
this is
fatherhood
my daughter,
right
Stokely.
Here. But this is important though, right? Because now you have your daughter seeing you put in work, right? And you're fostering a relationship here with her, and while working and doing what you need to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
right?
But I think it's important for us to also keep in mind that our experiences are not the totality of the African American experience within the diaspora or within the country as a whole. As I encourage my daughter to not eat paper. Sweetie pie, can you let daddy finish? Thank you, my love. I love you. So again, it's important for us to keep in mind that our experience does not represent the entire experience of all of us. And as easily as you may say, you know, and within my social circle, I see a lot of us who may not have active fathers. I think we also have to keep in mind again that while that may be your norm, the environments in which I may spend time in my social circles, because I'm a little older and most of my friends are dads, all of them are active. So if I were to say, well, I don't know how that could be, because like all of my friends grew up with their dads and they were active, or the people who I follow on social media, my algorithm may show X, Y, and Z. That also doesn't mean that my experience is the totality of our experience as a whole, as a people. So when you ask the question or pose the question, where does it stop, and or how do we change these things? I think it's a consistent evolution of people as a whole, and then also the encouragement of Black men to remain diligent and steadfast in terms of engagement with their children. It also is important for us to continue to heal ourselves and or go to therapy. And for many of us, again, not all, but for many of us, or some of us, we did grow up without fathers or active fathers, and there's a great deal of us who are looking to reverse those trends. So that's kind of how I view it, and we just have to continue to do the work. And then last but not least, man, is deprogramming. Like these systems have been in place to systematically take us out of the house through overcriminalization, through the overuse of substance abuse, through not allowing individuals to be able to have access to capital and or work resources. So we have to deprogram all of this in this battle in which we're fighting and combating, but we'll get there. Yes.
Now that leads me to a point where I saw a post that you reposted of Dr. Umar, where he was basically like how as men get mad at women when women say like, I don't need a man, or like they're overly independent, or they say like, I got it, right? When that was the environment that men kind of created for women, right? So how some men created for women.